Welcome! I'm beyond excited because in this masterclass, I'm going to show you proven strategies to become a peak performer in business and life. Strategies recommended by people like Jeremy Bloom, a 3-time world champion, 2-time Olympic skier, and former NFL player. Jeremy had this to say about my best-selling book, Unstoppable. Unafraid and unrelenting, Unstoppable is a guide to reaching your peak. You'll also discover techniques that are recommended by people like Dr. Ivan Misner, New York Times best-selling author and founder of BNI, the world's largest business networking organization. Techniques that have been applied to achieve all new heights of success from all walks of life, including Mikhail from Rome, Italy, who applied one technique that I'll be sharing with you in this masterclass to achieve an amazing feat of memorizing 15 European cities at -8 degrees on national TV under immense pressure. Imagine what you can achieve in business or life when you have this level of focus and determination coursing through your veins. What could you apply it to? The truth is, it doesn't matter who you are or what your goal is. The next hour will be one of the most eye-opening you'll ever experience. So stop what you're doing, grab a pen and paper, and pay close attention, because this training won't be available for very long. Hi, it's Ben Angel, and welcome to Beyond Unstoppable, in which I'll step you through the 7 secrets to go from unmotivated, unproductive, and unfocused to unstoppable, so you can achieve your most ambitious goals in less time than ever before, regardless of what they are. You see, it was in my mid-30s that I hit the lowest point of my life. Like a lot of people, I thought I was doing everything right to get ahead in my business, career, and life, but no matter what I did, I ended up losing motivation and drive, becoming overwhelmed with stress and fear, becoming burnt out, depressed, and unproductive. That was until one day I decided to step up and do something radically different, but more importantly, sustainable, that took me from depressed, burnt out, and broke to writing a best-selling book that sold over 80,000 copies, doing over 2.3 million in sales, and helping well over 10,000 students in my online programs get their lives back in record time. But before we get to my 7 secrets to becoming unstoppable, I've got a couple of questions for you. What could you achieve if you had an unlimited supply of energy, focus, and drive? What could you achieve if you got your body and brain firing on all cylinders? How much more money could you make if you were fired up and focused? Let me know in the comments. Because today, I promise that by the end of this masterclass, you'll walk away knowing exactly why you're unproductive, and you'll get step-by-step strategies to increase your energy, drive, and motivation. Which means you'll be able to increase your earning potential, work less, achieve more, and keep up in a rapidly changing world, no matter if you're tired, stressed out, overwhelmed, fighting depression, or overcome with anxiety. We've achieved proven results time and time again for our clients and members, and as a result transformed not just their lives, but their careers and businesses by giving them the secret formula it really takes to succeed. Like Tina, who generated an additional $100,000 in her business in a matter of months because she not only had a strategy for success, but she had the energy and focus to pursue her goals relentlessly. You know you're in the right place if you are an entrepreneur, business owner, CEO, influencer, or author who needs the mental stamina and energy to hit your targets. You're a leader who needs to reignite your spark, improve your productivity, and be a shining example for your team, your friends, your family, and yourself. Or you're an individual who may be suffering from burnout, depression, or anxiety, and you know you're capable of so much more, you're just not sure what will make the difference. Which one are you? 1, 2, or 3? Let me know in the chat. Now, we only have a short time together today. I'm going to give you as much as I can. And if you've ever watched one of my videos for Entrepreneur Magazine, you'll realize that's a lot. But obviously I can't share everything with you, so I'm going to be sharing with you how you can take the next steps for those of you who really resonate with me and my training, and for those of you who are ready to not just become unstoppable, but go beyond unstoppable to have the biggest breakthroughs you've ever experienced. But first, I'm going to hit you with a hard truth, so listen closely. Your goals aren't worth the paper they're written on if you don't have the energy, drive, and focus to pursue them. They're a plane without fuel that will never get off the ground. And if you're struggling to focus and achieve your goals, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The second your energy drops, so does your cognitive ability to be powerfully productive, achieve your goals, and hit your financial targets. But let me be clear. Procrastination, anxiety, or depression isn't a sign that you're weak or lazy. It's a warning sign that your body and brain are running on empty. It's a sign that you're yet to get to the root of your rut. Until you uncover what's really holding you back, until you change your approach and stop doing what's not working, until you make an investment in yourself and in your future, nothing is going to change. Does this make sense? Type yes if it does. What I'm going to share with you today is not theory. It's tried, tested, and proven for thousands internationally from all walks of life, professions, and problems they've faced, emotionally, professionally, and financially. And here's where you need to listen closely, because I'm going to give you a free bonus just for watching to help you achieve your goals in less time. But here's the deal. Don't take your eyes off the screen or you'll miss it. It's only going to be available for 3 minutes. Then right after the masterclass, here's what you'll do next. Review your notes from the free workbook and make a commitment to yourself that your journey begins today. It's time to play all out. So turn off all distractions right now and answer this question. Why are you here today? What do you want to get out of this training? Whatever it is, the important thing to understand is that I support you and I can see the potential you have that maybe you can't see in yourself right this second. How do I know? Well, I surveyed a staggering 57,433 people internationally and collected close to 2 million data points to uncover precisely what's holding people back by asking them questions no one has ever thought to ask before. I then took my research to doctors, biohackers, neuroscientists, psychologists, and nutritionists to uncover patterns, triggers, and cues that cause depression, fatigue, anxiety, procrastination, self-doubt, and a lack of focus to occur, so I could create an easy-to-follow plan to help people go from unmotivated and unfocused to unstoppable. Why? Because after being a peak performer, speaking on stage at 60 plus business events a year in Australia, and coaching hundreds of business and personal clients one-on-one, I burned out. Didn't matter which self-help strategies I applied to try and get better, how many doctors I saw, how much I worked out, how positive I thought, nothing worked, and no one had any answers as to why. Which is the reason I went on a 90-day mission to biohack my way back to success. The result was my best-selling book Unstoppable, which is published by Entrepreneur Magazine here in the US, has sold 80,000 copies, won Best Self-Help Book of 2020, is now in its second edition, and also recommended by doctors, psychiatrists, nutritionists, athletes, and peak performers for its brand new approach to peak performance and mental health. But I gotta be honest with you, going on that mission and overcoming depression was one of the hardest things that I've ever done. It's also the best thing that I've ever done. On my journey, I had one of the most important realizations anyone could ever have that blew to smithereens anything that I'd ever learned from the self-help gurus who simply tell you to toughen up, work harder, and jump higher, which is simplistic advice at best and dangerous at worst because it fails to get to the root cause of why people get stuck and it can result in self-blame for not being more positive and proactive. Ask yourself this: what would happen if you were to take a peak performer and deplete them of key nutrients, expose them to chronic stress, environmental triggers, jarring change, and have them spend hours a day on social media? I want you to really think about it because it applies directly to you right now. Here's the reality: it wouldn't matter who they were, they'd suddenly become depressed, unfocused, and unproductive like the rest of us would. And it wouldn't matter how much they'd push through with willpower, they'd only be able to keep going for so long before they burnt out. Who's been there before? Or is there right now? Let me know in the chat. Here's the key. The only difference between you and a peak performer and you and your goals is that you're yet to uncover what's really holding you back, and you're yet to optimize your body and brain to perform at the level you want it to. Most of us have no clue that we each have an invisible handbrake that has us spinning our wheels at different times of our lives. Once you release it, everything changes. But first, you have to locate what has turned your handbrake on. That's why I developed a uniquely different approach to peak performance that's unlike anything that you've ever seen before. That formula includes the unstoppable triple threat method, which is in your workbook. It has 3 core components. 1, biohacking, which is the art and science of optimizing your body and brain to perform at its best, no matter what the goals or challenges are. 2, psychology, so you can manage your time, your tasks, and your goals effectively. And 3, neuroscience, which includes modulating dopamine, your motivation molecule, to increase your drive, as well as training your brain to complete activities you've been putting off. When you become a triple threat by applying this method, your business grows faster, you take educated risks, you overcome fatigue, fear, depression, anxiety to become unstoppable in every sense of the word. But here's what most people do instead. See if you can relate. 1, they procrastinate. 2, they fail to get clear on their purpose. 3, they don't use nutritional psychology to optimize their energy and mood, and we're going to be talking about that in detail in a minute. 4, they fail to train their brain to perform at its best and live with brain fog and fatigue as their new normal. 5, they waste hours on social media. 6, they engage in negative self-talk. 7, they don't prioritize their goals. And 8, they don't have the energy for anything else other than getting to the end of the day doing the bare minimum. Let's get real. Do you think these people achieve their goals? No, of course not. Instead, they suffer and delay their success. One of the most important first steps you can take is to identify which of 8 behaviors you partake in and why it has to stop today. Let me know in the chat. Okay, so I can see we were already having responses come through as we made our way through that list. Sarah, she's procrastinating in her business and says it's costing her sales and her goal of a dream home. Colin has a clear purpose and goals, but he runs out of energy to make any meaningful progress. And Lisa, she's suffering from anxiety and depression, and it's affecting her career. Let me be clear. None of you are alone, and all of this can be addressed, and you'll see why shortly. But the bottom line is this: every successful person follows the same framework, whether they realize it or not. A study of 57,000 people backs this up, and it's a 7-step framework I'll step you through that incorporates the triple threat method. But first, as you sit there, you might be thinking, nothing has worked. I'm constantly exhausted. I'll never achieve my goals. It's not the right time. I have too much on my plate. Or the worst one of all, I've lost hope that I'll ever feel better. Whatever it is, I firmly believe that one of the best ways to learn is through other people's experiences and not just mine. So let me introduce you to Trish. Trish had an upbringing most people would never bounce back from. It affected her income, career, relationships, and her self-worth until she applied the principles I'm about to teach you.
I know, but what I have to say is, you may think it's over the top, so I'm just going to say it and we'll see. Is anybody else hot, or is it me? Okay, The reason I recommend Ben's work is because out of everything I've tried and everything I've done to be quote unquote normal, nothing has given me the results that I have now. I feel as though Ben literally gave me the life that I always wanted and has given me the peace that I always wanted. In the best possible way, in the easiest possible way, he literally changed my life completely. I will always be grateful and never forget that. Stupid jerk. Why do you always make me cry so much?
You know, I do what I do because of people like Trish, who step up and say, enough is enough. My life has to change right now. Because I know what it's like to feel like a failure professionally, financially, and personally. Type yes if you can relate. I want to acknowledge you for showing up today and to let you know that today is the day that everything changes. But here's what I want you to remember. My clients who don't wait until everything is perfect to start are the ones that break through every single time. So here's the goal. I want you to feel not just confident in your future, but confident in your capacity to achieve your goals. There should be ease, fun, and flow to your day. And the result is that you work more efficiently and effectively, and you handle setbacks like a pro. But more importantly, you not only improve your health, you also increase your earning capacity. People want to do business with you. You meet the demands of your day and you feel the weight of the world fall off your shoulders. That's what it truly means to become unstoppable. And just like you, I've had to bounce back from multiple setbacks, not just depression and burnout, but also the loss of my father to cancer. So regardless of the challenges you're facing now or your goal, keep watching closely, because overcoming these setbacks has meant that I've done the hard work and research into peak performance and distilled it into 7 steps so you don't have to. As we work through them together, the pieces of the puzzle are going to start to fall into place, and it will suddenly make sense as to what's been holding you back and what you have to do next. Make sure you have your workbook and pen in hand, and let's dive straight in. The first secret is something I never really understood the importance of until I came face to face with a life-altering decision. When I was at the fork in the road and had to make the decision, give up my writing career and accept mediocrity, or find a way to reignite my brain, my energy, my motivation and focus, and go from broke to back on track, I chose the latter of the two. There is nothing more painful than sitting in limbo. I made that decision to go all in because I knew I was capable of so much more. I also knew that I couldn't do it alone. But first, I had to truly connect with and biohack my purpose, no matter how helpless I felt at the time and no matter how simplistic it sounded. And on my mission, I discovered that there are 2 distinct types of purpose. How many? Let me know in the chat. This defining difference can make all of the difference in the world to beating procrastination and getting focused. And as you already know, having a strong sense of purpose is crucial to being a guiding star for your focus and for your drive. But only one type of purpose can inhibit your fight or flight response, and I'll get to why this is the real secret to unlocking your capacity to achieve shortly. You see, a 2013 study by Stephen Cole at the University of California, Los Angeles, delved into how having a purpose can affect our gene expression. To study this, Cole focused on 2 types of well-being. Cole measured this by having participants write down their well-being over the previous week, how often they felt happy, which is known as hedonic purpose, or when they had a sense of direction beyond self-gratification, which is known as eudaimonic purpose. He found that even though individuals who scored highly on one area often scored highly on the other, both correlated to people having lower levels of depression. This is important because for individuals deriving eudaimonic well-being from an overall sense of direction in life, their biology looks completely different. Cole suspects that eudaimonia, with its focus on purpose beyond self-gratification, as in your mission in life, isn't just to help yourself, but to help others as well, decreases our nervous system's fight or flight response, otherwise known as self-preservation mode, which we'll get to in a minute. And let me say this, if you've never heard of self-preservation mode before, this will change everything for you, so keep watching closely. But first, let's put this into practice immediately. I want you to take some time to answer the following questions in your workbook after the class. There's a neurological reason as to why they're important. 1. What is your purpose in life? I know it's a big question, right? If you're unsure, don't let that slow you down. Sometimes you need someone else to draw it out. In the meantime, you could focus on emotions instead. For example, I have 3 core emotions I must achieve to stay on purpose. 1, a sense of adventure, which could be through learning or travel. 2, a sense of fulfillment, like I'm giving something back. And 3, inciting conversation to incite change, which occurs through my books, videos, and coaching. This means that as long as I'm hitting these 3 core emotions, doesn't matter what career path I follow, I can feel powerfully on purpose. And for some of you, you may be drawing a blank. So just focus on the 3 core emotions you need to experience weekly to be on purpose, because the rest is going to fall into place. Which brings us to question 2. Who will benefit from you being on purpose? I.e., if you're studying to be a doctor or a nurse, then your family and friends will benefit. If you're running a business, then your family, customers, and employees will benefit. If you're an artist, your customers will through the appreciation of your art. And 3, what are your 90-day sprint goals? Share these in the comments. It's time to say them out aloud and make them clear. For example, if you are suffering with depression, anxiety, and a lack of productivity, say that you want to become a productive powerhouse, or that you want to become unstoppable, or that you need to achieve certain sales targets in your business within the next 90 days, or even start a new business. Make sure they're clear. The problem is, if you see your purpose as being insignificant or lacking meaning, your business won't grow. You won't grow, and although your goals may inspire you to act, the inspiration won't be strong enough for you to break through the tough times. And if you're not clear on your 90-day sprint goals, you won't know what to do and when. You'll feel directionless and your motivation will wane, which may be happening to you right now. When we biohack our purpose as one part of the triple threat method, get clear on our sprint goals, and think bigger picture impact on others, our focus narrows, our energy increases, our productivity improves, and goals that felt impossible become possible. It also does something to your motivation that we'll cover in step 6, something few are very aware of. So I want you to make a decision today. Do you want to start applying neuroscience, biohacking, and psychology to help you become unstoppable? Because if you do, then you've got to commit to it. And when you do, you'll be clearer, more energized, and more focused. And if you feel a calling that you are meant for more, then you need to make a decision today that today is the day that my life begins to change. To demonstrate what I mean, let me introduce you to Mark, who works in sales. He was struggling with fatigue and a lack of focus and low mood, and he couldn't work out what was going on. Well, not only did he achieve a breakthrough in his career, having one of his best years yet, something else shocking happened.
I've had some of my best weeks at work over the last month because I have the extra energy and focus. I've had some of my best weeks at work, and I'm looking forward to improving throughout this year and having this be my best year ever at my current job. The biggest problem was brain fog. I've been trying to learn different things over the last few years, and really have had a hard time concentrating on things and coming up with the right things to do. And one of the things, of course, says is that they're going to help you with brain fog and with lack of energy, and most certainly has done that. I would just add that thank you to Ben Angel for creating this course and doing the research that he had to do. It took a lot of personal time for him, and at a time in his life where he too needed to pull himself up and get it together. In fact, as of today, I've lost 20 pounds so far this year. So started basically basically on January 1st. Today is now actually March 18th. So in 2.5 months, I've dropped a full 20 pounds.
Mark achieved this by getting clear on his purpose, on top of applying the steps that I'm about to step you through. He learned what self-preservation mode is and how to stop it in its tracks so he could become powerfully productive. He also realized that what he was doing wasn't working for any aspect of his life. He needed a new approach and the help to apply it. If you could increase your energy and focus and improve your health, what would that do for you? Type the first thing that comes to mind. How would it make you feel? Okay, I'm seeing life-changing, freedom, no debt, wealth. I love it. Keep the comments coming in. If you can commit like Mark did, you're already halfway there. That's the first hurdle. Here's the thing. The second you commit to change, something happens. Fear and anxiety increases because change triggers our fight or flight response because it's unfamiliar to the brain. Being in a heightened state of alert all of the time is draining, quite literally. Who knows what I'm talking about? It's impossible to switch off and get to sleep properly at night. And this is important for you to understand and explains why your day gets derailed. When you become stressed by how much you have to do, blood drains from your prefrontal cortex, which is in charge of focusing your attention, managing emotional reactions, predicting the consequences of your actions, and planning for the future. This makes it virtually impossible to focus, be present in the moment, and learn new things because the lower part of your brain is focused on survival. This is when you become frozen with anxiety. Multiple factors outside of your area of conscious awareness can trigger this, not just stress, and I'll step you through these triggers later. When you learn to manage your stress response, identify your triggers, and learn how to self-regulate, you immediately reboot your brain and you regain your focus, energy, and drive because you're not wasting energetic resources on something that's likely out of your control. Instead, you're putting that energy and focus into what matters most. And here's where Secret 2 comes into play. You must manage your energy to amplify your output. Say you're starting a business, you need energy. Say you're growing a business, you need energy. Say you want to work out and lose weight, you need energy. Say you suffered a major setback, you need energy to focus on the things that you must do immediately right now. Do you have enough energy and focus to achieve your 90-day sprint goals? For those of you that are saying no, that's okay. That's why you're here and that's why you need to stay focused on this training. The sad reality is most people barely have enough energy to get through the day, let alone pursue their goals. Think of it like this. It's like having one power station supply energy from one major city, then adding another major city to the grid without upping its capacity. The power station will become overwhelmed by demand. The safety switch is going to fire. Then no one will be able to light their house at night. Your goals are no different. You need to account for the additional demands new goals add to your grid, i.e. your body and brain, or your safety switch will fire, which we'll delve into in a minute. If you don't have enough energy, and this is really important for you to understand, you have what I call an energy deficit. What is it? An energy deficit, which is the difference between how much energy you have and how much energy you actually need to be successful. It's this gap in the middle. For example, I want you to think of a goal you've achieved in the past. Bring it to mind now. How much more energetic, focused, and driven were you at that time compared to right now? How much work did you get done? How much more money did you make? It flowed easily, right? Things fell into place. And challenges, instead of getting emotional, you just worked your way through them because you had the mental bandwidth to do so. That's because you had enough energy, both psychologically and biologically speaking. And the great news is you can access this state anytime you want on demand when you apply the triple threat method. Type yes if you want to learn how. Because now is the time for you to learn a powerful, all right, I'm seeing that blowing up. There's a lot of yeses coming through. All right, now's the time to learn a powerful model that underpins all of my work and has helped transform thousands of lives. It's what I call the identity gap for success, and it's based on all of the research we conducted over the past few years. For those of you who are already familiar with this new model, I want you to pay even closer attention, and I'll explain why shortly. Here's how it works. The first step in the identity gap is to choose your vision and goals, which you've already begun. The purpose and goals in the diagram is represented as a light bulb in step 1. Your mission is to supply that light bulb or goal with a consistent supply of energy so it stays lit, so you can amplify your output, stay consistent, on track, and focused. If your internal battery runs flat, the power source, the light's going to flicker and you'll lose progress on your goals, or it may even go out completely. That's when you hit burnout. We all experience this at one time. You get really excited about a goal, you had tunnel vision, but as your energy started to wane on your mission, the light and excitement around that goal started to dim, which is why the second step is so crucial, which is to understand your identity type. You see, who you believe yourself to be fluctuates up and down based on your energy levels, mental clarity, and decision fatigue. Some days you may believe yourself to be strong, confident, and in charge, then other days, most likely, when you're burnt out, you feel unmotivated, unfocused, and you doubt yourself. This is represented in the diagram as the battery and 4 different identity types based on how charged your energy is at any given time. The 4 identities that make up your battery are the catalyst at the top, the synergist, the guardian, and the defender. When an identity is running the show, it takes control of everything consciously and unconsciously. Both the catalyst and synergist sit above the 50% line. These are the most effective mental states for you to achieve your goals in. This is where true success occurs. It's where you have an abundance of energy and mental stamina. Your goal is to become a catalyst. This will put you in the top 6% of peak performers who achieve their goals 84% of the time. They rarely procrastinate, rarely become overwhelmed, and rarely fatigued. They're quick to adapt, have a high drive to succeed, and can sustain focus for hours on end with ease. They make the most money because they're the most productive. People are also drawn to them. 50% charge in this model is the threshold mark that indicates the difference between conscious and effective behavior and unconscious and ineffective behavior. If you're not adequately recharging your battery, as shown in step 3 from both psychological and biochemical sources, we switch on what I call self-preservation mode, which is where we drop below the 50% threshold. This is where the guardian and defender identity types exist. The guardian is depleted while the defender is running on empty. Both ID types have higher rates of depression, anxiety, fatigue, and health problems that affect their daily lives. They're more likely to procrastinate than anyone else. And listen closely. If you are a guardian or a defender, your primal mind prioritizes vital bodily functions over any goals you may have that would drain your resources further. The fight or flight function of your primal brain deems them as life-threatening because they require more energy than what you have to give. This is your inbuilt safety mechanism to protect you from yourself. This is why you procrastinate, make poor decisions, become reactionary, experience mood swings, you can't focus, and you rarely achieve your goals. But naturally, at different times throughout our lives, we fluctuate up and down these different identity types, and depending on your triggers, it can occur yearly, monthly, and yes, even weekly if you don't have a formula to manage it. Think of it this way. Imagine you're driving up to a T-junction. To achieve your goals and be on purpose, you must turn right. But when self-preservation mode turns on, it forces you left to rest and recover, which means you're in the game of tug-of-war with yourself where you want to turn right and left at the same time. When you become unstoppable, you fall into alignment and nothing will hold you back. Drop in the comments now which identity type you think you are at this second. Defender, guardian, synergist, or catalyst. I see a lot of defenders and guardians, a few synergists, and only a couple of catalysts, which is reflective of our data. Over 50% of people are defenders and guardians, while 39% are synergists who are on the cusp of brilliance, while only 6.4% are catalysts. The question is why? We'll get to that later, but here's why this model has been game-changing for tens of thousands of people. We know that only 12% of defenders are clear on their purpose, 94% are overly stressed, 92% can't sustain focus, and 92% don't achieve their goals, while guardians are slightly better. Based on this, I know what to focus on to get immediate and lasting results to help you increase your energy and focus without spending tens of thousands of dollars trying to work it out like I have. Don't believe me? Well, this is what happens when you use this model and know which levers to pull.
Having the weight lifted off of my shoulders that I've been experiencing for over 45 years has made all the difference, and it will make all the difference moving forward so that I can be a better version of me and have a more positive impact on the world. There's been a lot of benefits from taking the challenge. It's included everything from being able to be really clear and focused in my thinking, which has allowed me to be more productive. I've been able to come to terms and heal past traumas, which for me was the game changer because it was holding me back. Just the amount of guilt and shame that I experienced, I'm now free of that. And so I feel like I can really expand on who I am and get to experience my life in a whole different and new way. Oh, you know what I love about the program is the meditations. They are unbelievable. I listen to them in the morning. I listen to them in the afternoon. I am talking about them and raving about them all the time.
Cynthia's transformation has been incredible, but the problem for many is they simply don't know where to get unstuck, which is why step 6 is one of the most important steps for you to take, because I'm going to give you a free download that will help to identify your triggers that turn you into a defender or guardian. But first, it's time to activate your motivation molecule dopamine, because looking at our research, we can see the defenders and guardians have low levels of drive and motivation, while synergists are slightly higher. The likely cause, they're in a low dopamine state, which is one reason of many that I'll get into later that they feel unfocused and unmotivated. To beat procrastination, anxiety and depression get fired up and focused, you must meet both your psychological and biological needs. Think of it like this. It's two sides of the same coin. One side is psychological energy that incorporates your beliefs, values, outlook on life, willpower, focus, and attitude. The other side is biochemical, which encompasses everything from genetics, nutrition, exercise, stress, neurofeedback, as well as neurotransmitters like dopamine. For decades, the self-help movement has focused on one side of the coin to the detriment of the other, which means people have only been getting half of the solution. Remember this, you can't outthink bad biochemistry by medicating with self-help. You may get better, but you may not get well. Does this make sense? Drop a yes if it does. Well, it made sense for Kerry. When things suddenly clicked for her, she shared, "Finally, I understand why self-help techniques get ignored in my head. The confusion that pushing myself was the better route while my head tells me to slow down, take a step back. For an older woman in the workplace, positive thoughts got me nowhere fast. Illness, losing loved ones all led to depression, anxiety, and a lack of esteem. Added with insomnia, made it really difficult to maintain any sort of normality or positive outlook either at work or home. Ben, you finally made sense, thank you." And here is why this next part is so important to you. Peak performers naturally have higher dopamine levels because they're taking proven steps to manage it, even if they don't know it. But for the rest of us, we need to know which levers to pull and what downregulates dopamine so we can manage it. Why is dopamine so crucial to your success? Dopamine impacts how you feel, if you're motivated, and if you're in a good mood or not. Put simply, it's in charge of 3 core factors: motivation, drive, and cravings. It's also involved in perception of time, which is important for sustained effort over longer periods of time. Dopamine stimulates sympathetic arousal, which means you can increase your alertness and desire to pursue your goals outside of yourself, and when applied strategically, it will help you get unstuck. The problem is that for defenders, guardians, and some synergists, they're doing things that down-regulate it, which leaves them feeling unmotivated, like not exercising, making poor food choices, experiencing sleep deprivation, and chronic stress. Who can relate? The trick is in applying the triple threat method so we can manage dopamine in a number of ways that has near instant impact on how you feel in the coming weeks. When you do, you feel more alert, awake, and driven. You'll have a level of determination like you've never had before, like Mikhail. But to boost your motivation molecule, you must take the next step. Otherwise, it's going to be short-lived. And that is to apply nutritional psychology. I first became intrigued in this field of research when I was depressed. You see, it didn't matter how healthy I ate, I still felt like death warmed up, and I couldn't work out why. Until I discovered that 50% of dopamine is produced in the gastrointestinal tract. One cause of my depression fatigue was a course of antibiotics that I took that wiped out both good and bad gut bacteria. NSAIDs, common over-the-counter pain relievers, also damage the intestinal lining, even months after you've had them. That has very real implications for how you feel right now. And here's where you need to pay special attention. Gut bacteria produces hundreds of neurochemicals that the brain uses to regulate psychological processes. For example, your gut bacteria manufacture approximately 95% of your body's supply of serotonin, which regulates anxiety, mood, and happiness. Low levels are linked to depression, whereas high levels are linked to decreased arousal. Looking at our research, we can see that 83% of defenders and 59% of guardians experience digestive distress, which is a key piece in the puzzle as to why they struggle with mood swings, depression, anxiety, and stress, and procrastinate. Gut health and mental health is an area that most never consider when it comes to peak performance. Does this make sense? Yes or yes? Let me know in the comments. To become unstoppable, you must increase microbial diversity, as it's required to produce these neurotransmitters that affect the way your brain works. This includes eating a diverse range of foods as well as reducing stress. Unfortunately, we know that defenders and guardians are the two identity types that are less likely to eat well compared to synergists and catalysts, and that's where the next step comes in. You must learn how to break bad habits that cause you to underperform and zap your energy and focus. The question is, how do we form habits that stick, like eating well and training our brain to focus for hours on end? Well, this is where we must form new neural pathways. The next part is a game changer for those of you that want to become a peak performing catalyst, and it's to understand how habits are formed, including the habit of being in an unproductive state. Listen closely. At the center of every bad habit you have is a neurological pattern with three distinct parts. First, you have a trigger that signals to your brain to go into autopilot mode, much like a notification you get on your phone. Second is the habit itself or the behavior. This could be putting off tasks, avoiding important phone calls, refreshing emails, or looking at social media the second you wake up. Then there's three, the reward, which comes in a form of a dopamine spike. And here's the secret to becoming unstoppable. Concentration occurs when the brain's prefrontal cortex is awash with dopamine, which is why it's no accident that you concentrate best when you're really engaged in something, like learning a new skill, listening to music, scrolling through social media, or doing something you love. Who remembers the last time you were in the zone? Time stands still. Hours, days, and weeks have passed, and you've achieved something you can be truly proud of. You felt confident and self-assured with an endless supply of energy and motivation. Type yes if you remember a time in your life that you were in the zone. Your goal is to train your brain to enter this state instead of untraining it by spending countless hours on social media. To not only beat procrastination, but to enter a state of flow, you must use the same neurological patterns that created bad habits to form new ones. And there's no better way to do that than visualization. Visualization empowers us to mentally rehearse the actions we need to take. Athletes use it as a way to mentally and physically prime their brains and bodies for the race ahead. The second they step on their track, their brain goes into autopilot mode to propel them across the finish line because they've tricked it into believing they've been there and done it before. Hence, there's nothing left to fear and only the finish line to focus on. When you visualize and create a movie in your mind of the goals and actions you want to take, you're creating new neural pathways in your brain that act like a roadmap to be followed. Your brain can't distinguish the difference between what you're imagining and what you're actually doing. It will create the same neural pathways regardless. The challenge is for many of us unintentionally. Throughout the day, we allow our minds to wander and visualize negative outcomes, which reinforce negative behaviors like putting off work. Visualization also does something else that's critically important. The biological reason that goal setting works and why I stepped you through the purpose exercise is because it gives a boost to systolic blood pressure. When a goal is challenging yet achievable, systolic blood pressure gets a spike, which increases your desire to act. Here we're not only getting you to mentally rehearse what you've got to do so you enter a state of flow, we're tricking your brain into believing it will receive a release of dopamine once you've completed it. This is one of the most powerful biohacks. Few people know about it. I've used it to mentally prepare to speak to crowds of thousands to prevent my fear and anxiety getting the best of me. What would you achieve if you clearly saw your future and were able to mentally rehearse your goals coming to life on a daily basis? How much more could you get done in a week, month, or even a year? Well, Mark applied these principles and his life changed. He wrote, "Ben, thank you. Started this process as a defender, did not want to do anything, no focus, no exercise, very low productivity, and the rest that comes with being a defender. Today, synergist, just got back from hiking camelback here in Phoenix. I have energy again. I'm getting my life back on so many levels. Thank you." Remember this, even if you're a defender or a guardian, you have the greatest to gain. Just think about how much it's costing you in your life to feel the way that you do. Could be costing you career opportunities, business, influence, money, relationships, and your health. You must make a decision today that enough is enough. I've got to start taking action. If you're a synergist, with just a few tweaks and by using the next 2 steps, you're going to have major breakthroughs over the next few weeks. And if you're a catalyst, this model is all about ensuring you stay there because you're most likely to overdo it at times and burn out. It's how quickly you bounce back that matters. The bottom line is that visualizing yourself working through these challenges, making dietary changes and feeling good again needs to be one of your top priorities, and it takes just 10 minutes a day. Which brings us to the next secret. If your brain isn't fueled for success and you're suffering from brain fog and fatigue, these visualization practices won't be anywhere near as effective as they could be. And that is, you must have a daily routine that makes you unstoppable. This is a non-negotiable. It's the difference between success and failure. Think about someone you idolize. They're successful because they manage their day, their energy, their biology, and their psychology. A routine is your support structure, which allows you to make magic happen. It's your template for a successful life. When you have and stick to a routine, you'll quickly begin to master your energy and fire at full capacity. You're capable of anything. Things fall into place faster, you make quick and decisive decisions, and you get more work done than you ever could imagine. But most importantly, and this is a key lesson for you to learn, your moods and energy are consistent, which results in consistent and effective output and high levels of productivity, which is why I'm giving you access to download the 10 minutes to unstoppable daily routine. The journal pages are going to serve multiple purposes. They act as a daily schedule to help you plan out your top 3 priorities for the day, monitor your energy levels, break down your priorities, list your wins, but most importantly, help to identify triggers that are holding you back. And this is critical. To master your energy and emotions, you must know the 16 triggers that cause brain fog, fatigue, low mood, anxiety, and stress. These triggers can turn on self-preservation mode in seconds. For example, who here experiences brain fog or mid-afternoon crashes? Brain fog is where you find it hard to concentrate, you become distracted, and your mental processes slow down to a crawl. You end up on social media instead of doing what matters. I'm seeing a lot of yeses come through the chat right now. One major cause is inflammation, which can be triggered by a large number of varying factors, including a loss of deep sleep, food intolerances, stress, gut imbalance, and more, as outlined in the free journal pages. When your brain becomes inflamed, it hinders energy production and the communication between neurons, so they fire more slowly, which causes mental endurance to drop, making it harder to focus as well as hard to resolve past trauma. Hence, we use the triple threat method to address anything and everything that will hurt your progress and optimize your brain. This is also why we have so many success stories to celebrate, like Casey Ann, who wrote, "I'm just so relieved to find Ben's work because for months I've been beating myself up, wondering if I was just lazy. It's good to know there's a fixable cause for my fatigue and a lack of focus." Or like David, who wrote, "I'm up to week 4 and have already gone from Guardian in week 1 to today, week 4, Synergist. Such a massive improvement, I'm so proud of myself." Imagine that, it only took him 4 weeks to move from Guardian to Synergist. That's how quickly this formula works. You're literally only a few weeks away from feeling the best you've ever felt. How much more control of your day, your life, and your business would you feel if you tracked your progress? If you tracked what held you back or what propelled you forward? How much more could you achieve in the next 90 days? Drop a comment, because later I'm going to share with you the link to download the journal pages for free. But first, there's one final piece that's missing that pulls all of this together and guarantees that you become unstoppable in business and life. Before we get to that, let's do a quick recap. So far, we've covered the unstoppable triple threat method that tackles low energy, drive, and mood from 3 angles. 2, how to biohack your purpose and identify your 90-day goals so you're clear on what you want. 3, what self-preservation mode and your identity types are, and why this formula is different to anything else you've ever tried before. 4, how to activate your motivation molecule, dopamine, to quickly increase your motivation and drive. 5, how to train your brain for success and break bad habits. And 6, the 10-minute to unstoppable daily routine to help you stay on track and uncover hidden triggers that are holding you back. What's been the most valuable part of this masterclass to you so far? I see some of you have been posting in the chat, like Elise says she loved the identity gap. Colin, why self-help doesn't work, that was an eye-opener for him. Irene, self-preservation mode. And Jonathan, he said he loved the whole thing so far, which is awesome. Each of us at certain times in our lives not only have to burn the boats and make a decision, but to make real change occur and quickly, you've got to have accountability. This is the key to change that you want to make. A study conducted by the Association for Talent Development found that by committing to someone else that you'll achieve your goal, your probability of achieving it is 65%. But here's the kicker. Your chance of success jumps up to 95% when you have a specific accountability appointment with someone you've committed to. Then, if we break it down further based on our research, I can tell you that defenders only achieve their goals 8% of the time. Guardians, 25% of the time. Synergists, 53% of the time. While catalysts, they achieve their goals a huge 84% of the time because they have both the energetic and psychological resources they need to succeed, no matter what the goal. And in a second, I'm going to share my accountability formula with you. But I want you to think about it for a minute. Of course, you can go it alone like I initially did, but it cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost sales. It almost cost me my career. Every day was a struggle to get moving. I missed my deadlines and I missed opportunities that I'm never going to get back. It also almost cost me my life. Why? Because I wasn't accountable to anyone. I didn't have anyone to guide me through a proven formula. I was guessing through trial and error instead of having a proven process, which is far cheaper and far faster. I'm not the only one. This also happened to Nicole, who posted, "For years, I've been working to find out ways to decrease my daily fight or flight, and it's been years and years of exhausting anxiety, massive stress, change of diet, lifestyle, you name it. Your book Unstoppable should be taught in schools. Thank you." It also happened to Taz, who wrote, "Anyone struggling with this should try this out. I've struggled with depression and fatigue on and off for years, also using personal development to get through, but man, is it so much easier when your body isn't burning out under you every time you try to push through. I've only just started and already taken a few of the recommendations and noticing instant results. The quizzes and workshops are designed to specifically pinpoint what you're struggling with, and the advice on parsing from there is pretty spot on." The question is it happening to you like it happened to myself? Are you surviving instead of thriving? And is going it alone costing you more than having an accountability partner? Accountability is a key piece that most people skip over to their detriment. Say you're a solo entrepreneur. Who's making sure your energy and focus is at the highest to achieve your business targets? Say you have a health and fitness goal. Who's making sure you're implementing healthy changes or even focusing on the right things? Say you're suffering with depression and anxiety. Who's checking in to make sure you make the changes you need to make to get your life back in the fastest way possible? Well, here's what you need to succeed. It's called the accountability formula. It requires 3 things. First, an agreement between 2 parties, including specific goals that need to be achieved within a set time frame, like your 90-day sprint goals. Second, clearly outline personal rewards like increased sales, income, focus, energy, mood, and drive. And third, the formula to achieve it that integrates the triple threat method. If you're missing any one of these elements, nothing will change and you'll be in the same position as you are right now. Take Johnny. He had all 3 and turned into a peak performing catalyst within 3 short weeks. Or Michael, who wrote, "Feel like I'm unlocking some secret society code. Energy up and mood stabilizing with a few simple changes." Look, I could go on and on and on because the truth is we have thousands of testimonials from people who have tried everything but only found success after using these methods. So here's the challenge. When you get started, you're going to start hitting roadblocks. There will be days you want to give up. But here's what you need to realize. You are quite literally a few short weeks away from feeling the best you've ever felt, feeling more focused than you've ever been, and tackling your big goals that you've been putting off. Imagine 90 days from now, you've finally created the business you always desired. You've written a book, you've launched an online course, you've overcome depression, you've hit your sales targets, you've increased your energy and determination to succeed. Imagine how it feels to take charge and be in control of your future, your finances, your life, and most importantly, I want you to imagine how it feels to be unstoppable. I think you and I can both agree we've covered a lot together today. But by now, you're probably wondering how you can implement the Unstoppable Triple Threat Method into your life alongside the 7 secrets so you can become unstoppable within a matter of weeks and not only pursue your biggest goals, but achieve them. What I've given you today is just a 10,000 foot overview of the method, but there's a whole lot of personalization that occurs depending on what your goals are and where you're starting from. So let me ask you this. How would you like to get every tip, hack, technique, and unfair advantage so you can have a personalized plan that can help you increase your energy, focus, drive, and earning potential? Well, for a limited time, there's actually 2 ways you can get access to this method and personalized plans. The first way is through Beyond Unstoppable accountability coaching, where I will work with you personally over a 12-week period. This is for business owners, CEOs, entrepreneurs, advisors, consultants, coaches, authors and leaders with ambitious goals looking to achieve them fast, and they've got no time to waste. This is where we will work together to develop your 90-day unstoppable sprint plan. You and I will speak weekly to help prioritize all of your best ideas and projects into optimal roadmaps with specific tasks. I will pinpoint what's holding you back based on the Unstoppable method and proven strategies to help you increase your energy, focus, and drive. So you have what you need not only to achieve your goals, but eliminate overwhelm, fatigue, anxiety, destroy self-sabotage, get you laser focused, and help you get more done in a few days than most people do in a month, regardless of what your business or personal goals are. This option is more expensive, but saves more money and time in the long run. We will dive into every aspect of becoming unstoppable, including nutritional psychology, mental blocks that have held you back for years, personalized brain training techniques, advanced business strategies, and more, to help you install cornerstone rituals to reach your goals or grow your business by hundreds of thousands of dollars, just like Tina did, or just like Anna Stretton, a New Zealand fashion designer, did when I worked with her one-on-one. I will personally review your progress each week and hold you accountable to what you need to get done and when. The end result: consistently turn your goals and ideas into concrete actions. As you can imagine, places are strictly limited due to demand, and my calendar fills pretty fast. When you apply to work one-on-one, you'll be asked a series of questions to ensure that we're a good fit. You'll purchase your coaching plan, then at the very end of the first session, if we're not a good fit, I'll respectfully let you know and give you a full refund. But a word of warning, this is for legitimate individuals who want to achieve their goals fast and are willing to do the work and invest in themselves and in their future. Now, the second option is through my flagship online program, Project Unstoppable. This is where our software gives you a personalized 28-day plan to unlock your brain for success, increase your energy, drive, and motivation. You'll get the framework, tools, and quizzes to do it yourself. This option is cheaper, but it involves you holding yourself accountable. But it's important that you understand that this simply isn't a course where I just give you a bunch of videos to watch and that's it, because you'll gain instant access to my brain training visualizations that use my unique FRF method, downloads, and a weekly premium quiz to help you track your progress. A quiz that also updates your weekly plan based on whether you're a defender, guardian, synergist, or catalyst. It adapts to you as you improve and adjusts even if you face an unexpected setback. This is for people like Leslie, who is struggling with depression, anxiety, fatigue, low motivation, and drive. She writes, "The difference is almost like going from dead to alive. Ben, you're saving lives." And it's for you if you want to become unstoppable in life. I'm talking about weeks, not years. It's also for you if you want to get to the root of your rut and feel energized and focused every single day. Now, this is who this program is not for. It's not for people who don't want to do the work it takes to become a productive powerhouse, or those who want to continue to struggle doing what they're doing. Nor is it for people who like bouncing around to the next shiny object. And it's not for people who are afraid to make a decision to become the best version of themselves and make their dreams a reality. Now, if you can agree to all of that, all you need to do is click the button below and select your option immediately. When you do, we'll give you all of the details to get started on option 1 or option 2. But like I said, places to work with me fill fast, so make sure you apply immediately. Now, as promised, here is a link to download the Unstoppable Daily Journal pages so you can start making changes immediately. In short, what I'm offering you here is a chance of a lifetime, a way for you to finally transform yourself into a peak performer who has what it takes to succeed, no matter what life or business throws at you. So go ahead, select your option today. And finally, thank you so much for attending this one-of-a-kind masterclass. I hope to see you soon. Take care.